The Writer's Nook for Creatives. Welcome to the Writer's Nook. Today's topic is an introduction on story types and story length. In the video, I will be talking about the different genres of story types, the word length of each story, and what makes them unique. As a reminder, this is a short, topical treatment on the subject with subsequent treatments to follow in other videos. So if you want to learn more on the different genres of writing, subscribe to this channel, The Writer's Nook. And thumbs up this video so that I can be inspired to create more videos for you and other creatives like yourself. Now, onto the video. What is a story? A story can be of the nonfiction or fiction genres. A nonfiction story is one that is heavily or entirely based on facts and truth. However, there could be some elements of artistic embellishment. This includes autobiographies, which is written by the subject of the story, the one who lived the accounts told within the story. Another type of nonfiction is the biography, which is written by someone other than the one who lived the events in the book. A fictional story is one that is created out of the author's imagination. The events and characters in the story are not true events, although they are supposed to seem real to the reader and can be inspired by true events. The fiction story usually has a plot, which is a series of events and some kind of conflict. The story can be set in the past, present, future, or even in an imaginary world. And the events in the plot usually happen to characters who have flaws or weaknesses. This causes them to have trouble getting what they want, as they will have an antagonist or other opposition against them. Here's an interesting question: what is the long-form story's appeal to the human mind? Whether it's fiction or non-fiction, a long-form story that has elements of intrigue and mystery. This can keep the reader fixated because it draws the mind deeper into the story. Having those elements will build strength to a long-form story. And if you have a well-thought-out plot, you can satisfy readers with suspenseful drop-off points at the end of chapters. This is the kind of suspense that pushes readers to a fully satisfying and impactful end. Also, think of your purpose. What are you attempting to do here? Are you intending to entertain, excite, inform, or persuade in your story? Usually stories of strong intent and persuasion fall under the category of television and broadcast media for radio, such as for news or with documentaries. In fiction, long-form writing tends to be much more detailed with complex themes than you'd find in shorter-form content. Great examples of long-form stories include novels and memoirs, as well as biographies and autobiographies. Even fictional memoirs, meaning ones that have strong embellishment to them, typically consist of more than 50,000 words. Also, these types of writing will have many characters with longer narratives and detailed backstories, with intricately woven plots, subplots, and theme. If you are a writer with a very active imagination, you can really extend your creativity in long-form writing. The sky's the limit. Here's a list of long story types to think about. Number 1, the epic story. Epic novels can include serials and contains anywhere from 120,000 to 200,000 words. Number 2, novels. Novels are from 50,000 to 100,000 words. Number 3, novellas. Novellas contain as much as 50,000 words, but typically range from 17,000 to 40,000 words. Number 4, novelettes. Novelettes contain from 7,500 to 17,500 words, but typically do not to extend past 20,000 words. What are the drawbacks with long-form stories? One consideration is the fact that most of your potential audiences today have increasingly short attention spans. Just a decade ago, the average attention span of humans was from 5 to 6 hours for heavy concentration efforts. Today, the average attention span is much shorter, at about 30 minutes at best, and at the extreme it has dropped to from 12 to 8 seconds. And the heavy consumption of internet content through social media and video blogs only hastens that fact. However, if you fine-tune your creative writing skills, you could capture the attention of your prospective audience and build a legion following. What is the short story's appeal to the human mind? The short story's appeal to an audience of the human mind is its ability to create a sense of wonder and curiosity. The trick is to be able to do this concisely without missing a beat in metaphor and foreshadowing, perhaps with a big reveal at the end. Short stories also appeal to the human mind because it can be read in one sitting and satisfy short periods of boredom, especially since people today have increasingly short attention spans. But, if you hook your readers early in your short-form story, and if you continually bait them with an artful theme throughout, spreading bits of intrigue like breadcrumbs, it will keep them fixated throughout the book. What is the strength of creating a short story? The short story, also known as a novel and novella, is a genre that has a lot of benefits. It is a narrative that can provide a variety of intrigue with weavings of romance, mystery, even horror. You could even add in bits of sci-fi to really give it a bend. And, because a short story can range from 500 to 1500 words for extremely brief blogs, social media pieces, and flash fiction, it is a perfect way to stimulate creativity, break writer's block. At its lengthiest, the short story usually does not extend past 10,000 words. And depending upon the interest and preference of the reader, it can be consumed in one sitting and on the go. Here is a list of short-form story types. Number 1, the novella. Novellas are at the top end of short stories, though it is at the mid-range of long-form fiction. Number 2, novelettes. Though they are at the shorter end of long fiction, novelettes are at the longer end of short fiction. Number 3, essays. Essays are respectably short at 500 words and can go much longer to 1,500 words. However, they may be as short as 300 words. Number 4, flash fiction. Flash fiction is generally as few as 100 to 500 words, but is not longer than 1,000 to 1,500 words. Poetry can contain as few as 3 lines, such as with the Japanese haiku style. And yet, one poem can extend into a full book. You may ask if there are any drawbacks with attempting to write short stories? Well, yes, there are some drawbacks to short-form writing. For one, writers can be tempted to sacrifice some creativity if they have not mastered the art of hook and bait. One trick of short-form writing is that you can utilize its strength of brevity. However, it could be difficult to contain a good story in a short format. Short stories tend to lack the same depth and complexity that other forms of literature have. This means that the reader might not be able to connect or relate enough to your characters to relate to them. Another possibility is that readers could not fully understand all the nuances and subtleties in the story because of the short form's brevity. And as a result, if your story doesn't have enough thematic appeal to convey a strong message at the end, this could have the story fall flat in the mind of some readers. Here's a closing thought. Although there is a difference in length and style, your writing can shine through in both styles. If your writing skills are stronger with long form versus short form, you can use your strength in generating lengthy content to be used later in shorter forms by practicing breaking it into smaller pieces. It can be easier to learn how to scale down from long form content to short fiction if you practice. Also, the converse is true. If you are better at short form than long form, you can improve your long form writing by practicing expanding your short stories into long stories. Again, just remember, it takes practice, patience, and commitment. The point is that when dealing with creative mind blocks, you have to become even more creative to push past through them. And you do this by psyching your mind into breaking and moving past your perceived limitations. Whatever you choose, don't knock the possibilities. The universe is unlimited. And so are you.